Is anything happening?
We're going to get to know Travis a bit better
I can't
today.
hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me at all?
No, you cut out completely. There you are, yes.
Oh, okay.
I can hardly hear you at all.
Okay. But you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're kind of cutting out.
Okay. So, Travis, tell us what you do and why you do it.
Well, I recently became a graphic designer. I studied some graphic design, and because I started off in hospitality, and I had for like 35 years service in hospitality in South Africa, but in the top, the luxury market. But they kind of, I got retrenched in 2017, and because of the BEE thing that they were rolling out. So since then, I haven't been able to find work. But I went and I took care of my mom in Cape Town, and I was helping my sister there. So it all kind of worked out for the best. And unfortunately, we lost my mother to cancer 2 years into that. And while we were going through all of that, I was looking for work here in Johannesburg because I'm from Cape Town. And there was nothing happening. It was like walking to brick walls consistently. And that doesn't do much for your self-confidence or for your sense of mental stability, let me be clear. So I thought, well, look, if this is going to be happening, we've sat down and we spoke about it, and we came to the conclusion that, well, I'm not going to run around chasing my tail. I just can't. I couldn't be bothered. So I thought, well, what am I going to do? I've got to do something. I'm not stupid. I can do something. Didn't know. I have an idea that I was going to become or get delved more into the digital art world. But what I did is I went and I completed a course in graphic design, and which makes me now a graphic designer, which is great. And I learned a lot there. But I found halfway through the course that I was more drawn to creating artwork digitally, doing digital painting. So I've been playing with that now for the last year, and it's been quite an interesting journey. I've had a lot of fun with it. I set up a few online stores, digital, either digital downloads or what do they call the print on demand stuff. The Redbubble's one of them. So I've got a couple of stores out there, but I've never really done a marketing campaign for them. I don't feel like I'm ready for that right now. So it kind of is evolving quite slowly, even though I'm an old man already at the age of 52. I've now changed my career, which is insane. So I'm just hoping that this goes the way it's going, and that is just, especially with all the nonsense going on around the world at the moment, I just want to create a few silly things that bring a smile to people's faces. That's what I'm aiming at right now. That is the aim, to get better at what I'm doing and to master the art. Not that I think
Okay. So you said you want to get better at what you're doing. What to you would be better at what?
Well, to me, better would be, I suppose, every artist looks very critically at their work. I have a very serious problem. I learned that when I'm painting, physically painting in the past, because I've always been an artist, but I haven't always worked as an artist. So in the past, when I physically painted canvases, it was more, I could focus on the detail more because I had more control. That's how it felt for me. When I started this thing, it took me months and months and months just to get used to the stylus and how it works and to get my brushes right. And I still don't think I've got them all right, but I'm getting to a point now where, putting shape and form and color onto a canvas is great fun. If you've got the right composition and you know what you're doing, you need to understand all that stuff. But for me, the fun part comes in the end when you start going into the details of it all. And I haven't got there yet on this journey of digital painting because it is not as easy as people think it is. It's not a problem putting a few shapes on the canvas, but to get in there and to actually get into the details of the reason why you're doing it and what you're trying to person feels like Happy Easter, you need to get the detail in. Well, I said bunny ain't going to be cute. So that is my problem at the moment. I'm very critical of everything. I've got so much work on my computer that I think I'm going to crash it if I don't take it off. But it's all work that's in the process of happening. And now I've started doing these FNT things, which I find fascinating. So I've set up a collection of NFTs. I'm busy working on a collection which I'm calling Baby Bots. They are too cute, in my opinion, and people seem to be enjoying them. So what I think for me, the graphic design helped me and taught me about vector graphics, how to design logos, how to design cutting patterns and things like that. That's great because I enjoy doing the vector side of it, but it gives you a different result. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm actually taking it from the vector and I'm putting it into a raster program where I can actually paint a layer over that and actually put a personal brushstroke on it instead of it just being a straight vector line. You get what I'm saying? But to keep it clean is another story. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm loving that. Yes, it's nice. It would be great to be permanently employed, though. I must admit to that, because doing what I'm doing, there's just no. I'm more interested in the.
Having a little trouble hearing you there.
They are friends. They're not. Sorry.
You were cutting out real bad.
Hearing me. Oh, we got a bad line, I think. Okay, yeah. Where did I cut out?
We're just talking about how difficult the fine details are in your Rustafari program.
Well, I think that, yeah, the difficulty, the challenge for me currently is because I used to paint canvases with my bare hands without using brushes, and you can do so much more with that. But of course, they've got the most beautiful tablets out there now. So I've seen artists that it looks like they're painting onto a canvas because they can actually stand up and they can actually use their whole arm. You know, when you're using a small canvas the size of an A4, which is what my tablet is, it's a very different technique. As opposed to, yes, painting with a paintbrush or painting with a sponge or with your hand, you know. Yeah. As opposed to that, the digital pen is a little more challenging. Well, it was challenging. I think I'm getting the hang of it now.
Well, no. That's interesting to hear you talk about. You enjoy the fine details and getting into that, because other people that I've talked to, the fine details are the devils to them. They hate the fine details because they're so hard to get those little things right.
But this is where I was coming up against the wall, because when you do that onto a canvas, onto a 3D canvas, a real thing, and you create a painting, it's kind of, you start at the beginning, you finish at the end. And I realized with digital, I almost have to work backwards. You have to deconstruct it before you start it. And then I always love doing yeah, wasn't that crazy? I found that very fascinating. And I was very pleased that I realized what was going on, because I really thought that I'd lost the ability to comprehend what the hell am I supposed to do with this. And I wasn't getting it. And then I learned all about the layers and how you're supposed to stack them. And you literally kind of deconstruct the entire thing and work backwards. So now that I've learned that, I'm pretty excited, because I'm busy working on some stuff that excites me, which is why I do it. And I hope that when people look at it, they enjoy it. I know my Pinterest account has surprised me, because people really enjoy the work there. So I keep loading it as I can finish it.
Yeah. It's that reward of finding out that something you've worked really, really hard on and you spent so much time on, getting that recognition, right?
Well, the recognition is great, but for me, it's also about, it's like, it pleases me to know that somebody has seen cryptic in my work. I literally will draw a daisy, but I might be a daisy in a windstorm. You understand? So I will put all the colors of the rainbow painting, but it's going to look a little shabby because it's in a windstorm. But people see what I see, and then they also get to feel what I'm feeling, which to me is quite thrilling. I think it's, and it's very challenging to get that down, because when you do, I find I've spoken to a lot of artists. My uncle's also a professional artist, and he's one of South Africa's really well-known artists. And he does wildlife, and he does landscapes, African landscapes. So we don't have very much in common in that degree, but I've learned a lot from him, and he doesn't take digital art seriously, which I can understand. He's way older than me, and he is one of those oil painters. He still does traditional oil painting. But what I've learned from him is that art is not supposed to be stagnant. And as you grow, it will change. And as you get older, it will change. So you've got to actually, you've got to find what you do and how you get that across. And he told me that as long as you feel you've completed a painting, successfully had somebody react to it, then you have done what you're supposed to do, even if it's one person, because that's what you're doing it for. And it is a lot of work. And it can be quite frustrating and very intimidating at times, especially on the internet.
Oh yeah, because the internet's always so kind to everyone, right?
I know, so sweet there. I'm not really good at this. Sorry, I've done so many online courses, which have been great. I did a lot of English because I like writing as well, so I've written a few things, but I find that I don't want to post them with my name on them. I would like to post them anonymously. Do you know that I cannot find a site to do that on? Not in this country. And if there is a site, we can't get to it. It's insane. I cannot tell you the way we're getting reined in. I found that it's crazy. At one point, I thought that I was invisible on the internet, that something had gone wrong. I had been blacklisted, or I had been put on a list and I was just being ghosted. That's how bad it was. And then you can't, the stuff I write is very controversial. So I would never just presume to put it out onto Facebook or to Quora, because I know there's going to be a backlash, but I write them anyway. So I did quite a few English courses as well, just to brush up on my English grammar and my composition. So I like to learn, I like to grow. I suppose getting older, you also and being retrenched at the age that I was retrenched at, so being where to now? Nobody seems to want me. I'm not the right demographic for the current job market here. And just being at an interview is insulting, and it actually offends some people. So I don't know, it's crazy. It's just, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to take all of that crazy and I wanted to transfer it onto something that other people could look at and then go, I understand what he's talking about. I get it. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to do. The NFTs, I think, for me, are more of a fun project because I get to play with them. It's almost like playing with a doll. That's what I said to my sister yesterday. I said to her, the NFTs are fun for me because I do them on the graphics programming. So to me, those are just shapes and gradients of color, which is great. So you put that all together. It's almost like playing with a doll, if that makes any sense to you.
A little bit.
It's not a real baby. You get what I'm saying? If you want to compare it to something. So I'm not making light of the NFTs because I might just become a millionaire through them. You never know. It happens. But I find when I do NFTs and I'm playing on the vector graphics, or I'm doing a logo design, or I'm designing some digital downloads, I find that is like the lighter side of it for me. So I don't much. It's pretty intense, and I know the more you practice, the better you're going to get. So I put at least 2-3 hours in a day. But I am having fun with the NFTs, I must be honest. I find it fascinating. It's like going to the toy store. And all you see are monkeys.
Well, that's really with any form of art, right? You like your grandpa was or grandfather was telling you that the art needs to change. It can't be stagnant. You have to grow with your art, and you have to express something through that art, because if you're not expressing or growing through it, then it just becomes that stagnant, and then it's not going to find that audience necessarily.
Correct. Now, my thing is this: I've got quite a few people I've learned from on YouTube when it comes to the marketing side of things, and as long as I'm producing something and I've got a physical product to show for it, that is helping with my self-esteem. You understand? The art side of things, I think, is helping me with my emotional baggage and the way things have been here. It's because it's been an up and down ride. When I left my high school, when I got my high school degree, we were going into the end of apartheid. I went to the Navy. I didn't know who Nelson Mandela was. I didn't even know what apartheid was. I was aware of the segregation because you grew up in it, but I wasn't aware of the degree of turmoil that was going on and the injustice that was being perpetrated. So that was all new to me. So I joined the fight and the liberation movement to liberate and to have everybody come together, and we were a rainbow nation. You remember they used to call us that, the Rainbow Nation. And those days were great. They were young, they were carefree, and they were confusing a lot of the times. And when I was painting back then, I found I was doing a lot of lollipop stuff because I was painting for friends, I was family, and I would paint for somebody who owns a restaurant who would call me up and say, listen, I would like you to do me a big portrait in purple and silver glitter. Can you get that done? I would do that kind of stuff. So it was more of, I would say, verging on graffiti, in fact, but on huge walls and canvases. So, but now things have changed, and I find that playing with the vector graphics and creating the NFTs, they also challenge you to come up with characters that nobody is playing with at the moment. And I enjoy that a lot. I don't know where that's going to go, if that's going to go anywhere. But for my future, I would really like to get involved in creating like digital characters for maybe the gaming industry. If not the gaming industry, I don't care. I just beautiful artwork that people can look at, and I don't have to have a messy studio, because right now, if it wasn't for digital, I would not be able to do the things I'm doing. And I think I would be slowly going even more crazy than I already am.
Well,
yes.
Sorry to hear it's been so rough on you lately. But it sounds like you've lived such an amazing life, and it's interesting to hear how you said that your art has changed. Like in the previous days, you were doing the simple lollipop canvases, as you put it, and now you're progressing into the digital. You don't need that huge studio in order to still do great art. Interesting to hear how that.
No, you don't, which is amazing. I find it. I think it's that's what I was saying to that's what I was saying to my uncle the other day. It's like, you just got to look. It's taken me a few years graphics on the computer, and it's all that. I only just got into the digital art scene or practicing digital art a year ago. And the only reason I managed to do that, I think, is because I mentioned it to a friend, and then she bought me a birthday present, and it was delivered, and it turned out to be a tablet. And it took me forever to learn how to use it. But I'm so pleased she did, because it's given me the ability to create or to learn and to play and to come up with some stuff. And of course, there's so many good artists out there at the moment. But I do watch them on YouTube, and this is what concerns me. It's almost like I find everybody seems to be... No, let me rephrase. There are some serious artists that I would refer to as artists on YouTube, and then there are graphic designers that play with art, which is great. Now, this is where the vector comes in for me. I play with the vectors. I take the painting a little more seriously, maybe because it's a little more challenging at the moment, because I still have to learn a lot. But what I'm loving is the fact that I watch these guys, and the guys that are doing the print on demand stores, with the digital downloads and the papers and the backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. You can go on so many. Creative Fabric is one of them. Just started a store there. They invited me on because I'm always on there. So Creative Fabric, for instance, you can go as a creator, you can go and design a bundle of, let's say, 10 backgrounds, and somebody would come along and you would save them some time. Could even be another artist that's looking for backgrounds, and you've done exactly what they wanted. It saves them a good hour, 2 hours. They would rather pay 60 cents for that, or they get it for free sometimes. So what I'm finding interesting is that when I watch the two different, shall we call them, genres, I find the artists are so emotional. They are so sensitive, and they talk about the deep stuff. There's a couple of them that I listen to. They're not joking. They're going into the shadows, mean something. You get it. And the reason it's dark like this is because the world is dark like this for me. You understand? Then I look at the other side of the fence and I'm going, what the hell am I going to do? Because here I've got this side, I can totally relate to it, but I'm not good enough yet to step into it. On this side of the fence, I kind of feel like it's still bubblegum, and I find it, I don't dare say boring. It's not boring. It's not, do you understand? The difference between being a farmer and being in the admin office. Does that make sense to you? So I find I just find the digital designs that I'm doing for digital downloads, I don't feel like it's enough. Does that make sense? It's almost like I know I'm doing great. They're great pieces. They're great backgrounds, and somebody's gonna like them. There's millions of people out there, but I just don't think they're good enough to put out there. So yeah, I'm terrible in that sense. My sister literally has to say, "Listen, yeah, stop wasting time on this nonsense. Put it in a packet and send it." So when she gets to that point, then I'm like, okay, I'm messing around now. But I do have an issue with, in the past when I was doing physical paint. Do you paint at all? Are you an artist?
I don't paint. I've written a few books. One's published right now, so I understand that struggle.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Letting go of it must have been difficult. It's like you got to just let it go now because you've done what you could. I find myself in the past, I would ruin so many of my canvases because I'd go, oh, this is looking so good. I'd step back, I look good. And I've learned now, a little better late than never, that when you feel that, you should put it down and walk away, at least for a day. Come back to it again. And if you feel it still needs some work, there's that detail I'm talking about. But it's that detail, usually when I feel that way, if I don't walk away immediately, I screw up. Because it just takes 2 or 3 brush strokes to mess it up. Now with the digital, I just hit Control-Z, and that's not a problem anymore. So that is kind of fabulous. I love that I can mess it up and go back.
And then be like, wait, it was better here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. It's exactly what I'm like, hang on a minute, let me just tap through here. Oh, there it is, I knew it. And then you just, I love it. I'm actually loving that part of it. I would love to be able to market myself better. I just find there's so much nonsense out there. I put my NFTs out about 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I can't tell you how many scams I've had to deal with. Scams that have wasted hours of my life.
Yeah.
I wish they'd just go away. I cannot believe how many people are out there just trying to scam you. And you're just trying to make a living. I had it out with someone this morning, actually, on Pinterest. I'm sorry, I've had enough of it. I just want to report them and have them locked up. It's like somebody coming into your bedroom and demanding your underwear. You understand? That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about, don't come to me and try and sell me your shitty service to sell a shitty stock option. I don't know anything about stocks. And I know NFTs are all traded and all that, but then tell me you want to trade my NFTs. Don't start blowing smoke up my bloody butt because you want to get me to trade NFTs. I'm not interested. I'm an artist. I want to create them. And I just don't seem to get that across to people. And Twitter, I mean, I've had my account suspended so many times. And I still don't know why. And I think maybe it's because I just was saying too much. So I don't say much on social media because, and that's where I think I'm making a bit of an issue, because I think that's where you've got to go play the game. The game is still the game. It just changed. The players have changed. And I think that the platform has changed. You know, you're no longer going into the mall or into the gallery. You're now going onto your platforms and your, what do you call those things? I just started working on one, which is so overwhelming. I almost had a heart attack the other day when I realized how much work it was. What do they call that thing? No, I forget it completely. I look like an old man now, right?
Oh, it's all good.
You're on server, and then you can build your kind of community. I cannot remember that. It's on the tip of my tongue. Just something, this. Anyway, I'll let you know when I'm on there. I'll send you an invite. But I'm busy setting that up at the moment. So there's all that stuff. So then the writing comes in handy. But I just find that I've got so much out there already. I should find a way to market it. And that is where I'm falling short, because I'm not selling enough stuff to actually put back into marketing, and I'm not able to treat it as a business right now. Right now, I'm treating it as if I'm a student. So that's where I'm at with that. I love doing it, and I love learning. And hopefully, the world will still be around when I reach the point where I feel that is now exactly what I'm trying to tell you. I looked at some art the other day, and there's one man, and it was a little risque, but it was almost like putting strippers with angel wings, and but the detail and the color and the absolute perfection was just, that doesn't take a minute. That takes good 30 hours just to put on and fix. So that's where I want to be at in the next, I say, 3 years. Yes.
Well,
I want to be that.
Not to flatter your ego too much, I was very impressed with your art and the ones that I put in the Faybul, because I very much saw how much work was in there. I saw the details that you were talking about, and that devil in the details being present. And that's one thing that all artists kind of struggle with. Like you were talking about, it's got to be hard to let it go. Well, it is hard to let that art go. It is hard, even if it's writing, whether it's art, whether it's, any other form of expression. It's hard to just like, yeah, here you go. Here's what I've spent the last 6, 7, 8 years of my life perfecting. I hope you like it, right? And then it comes with new stresses that you're talking about. Like you get the scams that want to just hurt you.
Oh no. Yeah, it just that pops the bubble. It's like, no man, that's rude. Yeah, they give you this kind of fake endorphin rush, which I've now learned to not get. Okay, I don't even get excited about it. If I get a message, I just straight go to, okay, this guy's just trying to sell me something, and I'll literally ignore it now, because I know I get more honest reviews from people interested, just thumbs up, then these people that want to spin me a whole story and get me to join this group and that group, and I don't have time for that. I want to create artwork. You want to buy some, let me know. I've got so much to show you, but don't come to me and ask me to put money in your bank account so that you can spend it. You've got to be kidding me. What is that about?
Yeah,
that's
and
crazy.
That's a whole nother feeling, like hurt and everything like that, because you're like, I just want to do what I love doing. I don't want to get involved in this. I don't want to help you to scam more people, because I'll be like, oh, they were great, they helped me out with this. I don't want to be involved in that. I just want to create my art. Right?
Yes, correct. And that's, I think, what I miss about the good old days, is when, before you had the internet, because yes, I was alive and I was actually young in my 20s and 30s before the internet came around. So my thing is, like, back then it would be word of mouth, where now it's like it's all about the bits. So your friend has shared it, and you haven't been speaking to that person for 2 years, but now because they shared it, you're going to go have a look at it. And if I'm lucky, it's a piece of my art, and you like it, and then you'll share it, and then they'll share it. That's the way you have to do it now. And I'm a little bit of a I don't suffer fools gladly, and that has been a big problem for me on social media. So I'm not very good at that whole let's fake it till we make it thing. I don't want to do that. I'm too old for that. I just want to paint, and I want to know that when I put it out there, people are actually going to look at it and go, that is so nice, I like that. If I paint a butterfly and a young girl wants to put that in her bedroom, fantastic, I've changed somebody's life. That's all I need to know. You understand? I do the simplest things as birthday gifts, for cards and stuff like that, that I'll sit and draw and paint for hours for somebody I love. And the joy that I see when I give that to them is all I need. And it makes it worth it. Not just painting that card, but the days and hours and years with the confidence. Confidence is a big thing too, isn't it?
The time taken to make the
confidence.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all time taken. And then you get these people that want to quickly just jump on the bandwagon, and I don't know what they're trying to do. But I suppose everyone's trying to make a living. So you can't really throw them in the dog box because they're doing what they know how. And I suppose if I could scam people, no, I would never do that. No, it's not an option. Sorry, I wouldn't do it. But it seems like there's so many of them at will, so we don't have to worry about that. We've got that covered.
Okay. So what was your favorite piece that you've ever made?
Oh, that's such a horrible question to ask. I think that's the best piece I've ever made. That is, because I love them all. I think the best thing I ever did was a huge mural that I painted in Cape Town in a restaurant. And it was just a pair of lips. But it was so big. It was, I think it was 12 by 12 meters. And to do that is not easy. It's challenging in the sense of you've got to give it depth, you've got to give it life, you've got to give it a reason to be on the wall. And they wouldn't give me any direction. And it took me a good 2 months.
Wow.
I got it done, and it took me a while. They closed down for 3 weeks. They renovated, and I painted in those 3 weeks. And I must tell you, it was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen. So what happened was kind of a revamping. But you know, when people do these things, I take it at face value. I really do. So for me, okay, well, I've been coming to your restaurant, so we can Portugal, which is great. I'll do a lovely mural for you, which brings the vibe you're looking for, which is great. But then I realized the reason they did all that was to sell the business. So they sold the business successfully. And I walked in with friends of mine the one night, and they painted over it in white.
Oh.
They painted the wall.
Oh, man.
The guy that bought the place was like, oh, no, I don't want that graffiti in my place. I was like, I'm so sorry you felt that way. That was my work. Did you take any pictures by any chance? No, no pictures. Luckily, we had taken pictures, but I lost all that in a fire. So that was my favorite piece, because you could literally see those lips from a highway.
Awesome. Well, I'm sorry.
The cars were driving past, and those lips would say good morning everywhere. You couldn't miss them. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that, because I found it very challenging. Because of the scale, I've never done anything like that. Today, I will do it on my computer and just let it blow up on its own, which is what's so great about vector work, because you can do something in vector and you can blow it onto a billboard. It'll look just as good.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? And it takes 3 weeks to do it. Well,
3 weeks and 2 months.
Yeah.
So, how long does an average piece take you now? We'll talk now, but back in the day, you can share how long an average piece would take you too.
Okay, so when you're talking about a mural, it's a different story. That is like planning, and then rush, get it done. So it's not the same as painting a painting, for instance. Some paintings I have created in a day. That's the good old days when I was doing hand canvases, traditional artwork, and I would use acrylic paint and sometimes mix the mediums up with some melted crayons and stuff. But today on graphics, I'll be honest with you, I find it's taking me a good 8 to maybe even 24 hours of work, of just going through it, going back, fixing mistakes, going through it again. So yeah, it takes a lot of time, and it takes some focus. So if you don't, I need to be in the zone, and the only way to do that is just to do it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. When you're writing and you get onto a tangent where you feel, okay, this is something's gonna, I can feel that. So you'll just keep writing.
Mm-hmm.
I would say on average, I would give it at least, I don't know, I think to do a painting properly, 30 to 40 hours at least. And it depends on the composition and on the complexity of the subject, of course. I mean, if I'm going to be doing some modern stuff with just some color variation, that's going to take me wherever. But if I'm going to be doing something complicated, fantasy-like, I find the fantasy genre is very, very fabulous. I am now learning to draw, to paint in scale. So, which I find fascinating, because I've always been a very much portrait kind of person, or I want to show the face, because that to me is what we can all relate to, is people's faces. And even if it's not a person's face, it's a face. It's got 2 eyes, it's got a nose, it's got a mouth. Yeah, I come up with some weird creatures sometimes, but people relate to it, because even though you might just twist them out a bit. But I would say right now, if I had to take a commission to do a portrait, for instance, I would not do it in less than 20 hours. I would give myself 20 hours to do it, and hope that I get through
it. Hope that you get it done.
Yes, I'll stress myself out.
That's okay.
For sure.
Yeah, because you mentioned, I heard you kind of, we had a bad connection there, but you were talking how you got to kind of be in the zone. You got to kind of want to be there and doing that. And I totally understand that, because like you related it to writing. Yeah, sometimes some of the best writing comes when you're just like, it's late at night, I should go to bed. But you know what? I'm feeling like I need to write, and you just go and you write, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was actually really, really good.
Oh no, you go like, where did that come from? Funnels some more.
Yeah.
I know.
The worst
I
is
know.
when you block at that point, and then you're like, oh no, I lost it.
I've been working on there's this creature that I've been working on. It's basically a female fairy that's sitting on a mushroom, but with attitude, right? So I want to give her this attitude of like, you are trespassing and you've got a second to leave. That is what I want to give her, right? So she started out as an 8-year-old child, basically sitting on a mushroom, did it for a little girl's room. Everyone loved it. And I thought I was done with this. So the other day I had to do some practicing again. And I see if I'll transpose it. So I started doing, and suddenly I created this mushroom, but after 2.5 hours of, how am I going to get this right? And I was like, then I do this, and then I do that, and then I try this, and it just, nothing was working. And the next thing I knew, this mushroom looked exactly like it was supposed to in my original thought, which was basically a cloud of colors, bubbles. And there it is. And I was like, that is insane. That took me like 8 months to come up with, because it is exactly what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it. So I had to go through all of those hours of messing around and trying, and eventually coming up with the right, well, what I don't even know what to call it, the right brushes, the right techniques, learning how to use transform tools, learning how to do all these other things, and suddenly there it is, the cloud of color that I wanted. So that kind of stuff excites me. So now when I'm finished with it and I show it to the world, I just hope to God that it excites somebody else the way it excites me, because I'm sitting here having the best time going, I figured it out. Can you believe it? I figured it out. But then people are going to look at it, and then you get some some fancy schmancy designer or big shot executives, they look at it and they're like, oh God, I would have put different colors on it. I don't want to hear that. I don't care. You don't like it, don't look at it. But you know what I'm saying to you? It's like I've written some stuff in Quora, and I cannot believe the amount of people that have read my stuff, because I think it's the most viewed stuff is on that I think it's Quora, hey, Quora. And I've got thousands of people reading my stuff every month, thousands. I go on there once every 2-3 months to put something on or to answer a few questions, because some people just don't know. So I have to let them know, you see. So they send me emails and they ask me questions. So I go and tell them, because some people are just being stupid. They know the answers already. So I have to go and be that person on Quora. I don't want to have to be that person when I'm an artist. I want to be carefree. And I want to be able to just paint and enjoy it. And I want to hear from people that love the work. Tell me you love it. You don't like it, please do me a favor. There's some artists just down the road. They do wonderful stuff. There's a big world out there, and there's so many people that are talented. And I think everybody has got their own thing. You write, you've got a book published. I know what that must take. So well done. That is insane. I have set up stores that nobody's even been into. You understand? And that is work, my man. There's weeks and nights of work. And nobody knows they're there.
Nobody knows it exists, right?
Okay, it's fine. It's there. It's not ever going anywhere. You know what I mean? I've got websites and landing pages, because I've delved into all sorts of things when it comes to this online making money thing. I mean, I've done PLRs, I've tried affiliate marketing. I have done every one of those passages looking for a way. And all I found was frustration and insanity. So I walked away from it, and I went back into graphics, where I understand the graphics world. I understand when you say to me, I'm opening a company and I want to have a metallic logo built. Can you help me? Sure, I can do that for you. And I understand why you want to do it. So let's get it done. But this other stuff where I'm trying to convince you that you need what I got, I can't do that, because I'm lying to you. Like, I find it's all very deceiving and deceptive. It's very misleading. And yet people make good livings doing these things.
Yeah.
But I do feel that most of it's a con, and people aren't coming out and going, hey, you can't meet, because they're embarrassed. It's the biggest, it's one of the best things that I've seen happen. It's in the worst way, is people liberating themselves from mediocrity to suddenly millionaires in a year, because they have managed to figure out how to build a funnel that you go in there to buy some toilet roll, right? But by the time you come out of it, you've got a boot full of fucking stationery. You don't know why, but there it is.
Yeah.
They don't give a damn. They've mission accomplished. Next, please. I don't like it. I want to sell art to people, or make art available to people, because although I'm a big, huge fan of the classics, Van Gogh is one of my favorites, Toulouse-Lautrec, insane pointillism. I don't know how anybody had the time and patience to do that. But today we also have things to offer, and like my niece, she's 13. There's times when she looks at my stuff, she hasn't looked at it for months, and then she'll come sit down and look at what I'm doing, and go, my God, did you do that? I'm like, yeah, I did that. Oh. Not, so yeah, as long as she's
bad connection there.
I said, as long as they still see the improvement, I will keep doing it. So
yeah.
I don't think you ever finish doing that. So, and yeah, I never thought I'd ever learn and study and get to know. I always wanted to do graphic design as a young child when I was at school still. I wanted to do it, but we didn't have the finances for me to go and study. And back then, there were no such things as student loans, at least not to my mind. I didn't know about them. So listen, my white privilege was taken away from me, apparently. I didn't know about it. I didn't know I had it. But I only learned a few months ago that apparently that's something I have. And I'm fascinated by that whole sentence as well. We could talk for days about that, because I think I should write a comedy show about that nonsense, because I missed mine somehow. I don't think I was at the line. But so when I went back and I thought, well, let me do the graphics course, I kind of felt like the proverbial fly at the feast. You understand? Like the imposter, that imposter thing you get. So because I was the older guy, and suddenly everybody, is asking me the questions. I'm like, I don't know this stuff. I'm here to learn it, like you are, you know. But they don't see it that way. But it was good. It's all been a good experience, and I'm glad that I've done it. I don't think I'd do very well in a studio setup where somebody is breathing down my shoulder and telling me that my shade of green needs to be darker. I could not do that. So
Well,
I'm very grateful that I'm able to do this from my little office here.
well, and that's one thing that I think is great about the digital age in that sense is the freedom it gives artists. Like you get to make your art the way you want instead of
Yes, and
having somebody go, look, that's never going to sell. I don't want it. Or you need to do this to get it to sell, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think for today's young people, for the younger generation that are, listen, there are some 13-year-olds painting like Picasso at the moment. It's insane what's going on. But people don't realize Picasso was a classical painter before he became a modern artist. He could paint classical work like realism, like there was no tomorrow. So you've got to get to that point first before you can start deconstructing them. And that's what makes great art, is like seeing the journey, I think, of that story. Like you write a book, there's a journey. I think artists also tell a story, even if it's just a concept piece that somebody's putting out there. That's 20 hours of their life. They've put everything into it. Every thought, every moment, every bead of sweat in the last 20 hours went into that. And it's important. I think it's great. And yes, there's so much opportunity at the moment. And I understand these people that go, I watch a lot of American stuff at YouTube. So I find Americans do not have an understanding of just how restricted some of us get in the other parts of the world. We do not have the freedom to just go into Redbubble, for instance, and upload our art. It doesn't work like that here. Here, you've got to do it right. You've got to make sure that it's this and it's that, because it almost like it gets, I don't know. It's kind of like we've been restricted. It's like trying to find work online here is not that simple. They've made it complicated for not you as a person applying, but also for the company that's offering the position. So there's all sorts of tax implications. There's all sorts of paperwork that they've made impossible. So I like to see that in America, apparently, if you're an artist, you just don't have to worry about making money. There are so many ways to do it. And I've implemented just about every single one of those ways. And still, I battle to get anybody into my online stores, which I find so insanely frustrating. Do I literally have to throw a polar bear into it? I don't know. What do I do? What do you think? I don't know what to say to that. It's crazy though. But like I said, I'm not at that part of my journey yet. And I think when I do get there, where I am not even thinking about that, I'm not even worried about that at the moment. What I'm worried about now is getting better and developing a technique and a style that people enjoy watching.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I try to bear in mind when I'm doing it. And I'm going, why is nobody looking at it in that shop, and why is no one buying that pillow? And what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have the finances to put a marketing campaign out on Facebook. That's what's wrong with it. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, that definitely affects things when you can't spend the money to get it out there. You can't spend the time to get it out there, or like you've said, a lot of marketing is very deceptive. You've got to come up with the phrasing to get people to be like, oh my gosh, I want that. Well, maybe you don't really need it, but you don't say that in your marketing campaign.
No, you don't. You're going to take this now because it's part of the funnel. Off you go, and off to the next one. And I just find it like frustrating to be like, I don't want to be that person, so I'm not going to be that person. And even if I was, no, I can't imagine it. I remember how angry I was the day I found out that, hang on a minute, this is not what you told me it was. This is dishonest is what it is. That's
Yes.
the only word I can come up. They were so mad at me for saying that. And I was like, but it's true. You are being dishonest. You're saying one thing and you're doing another.
Yeah.
So, you know, we see so many artists out there, like YouTubers and stuff like this, and we think that it's them. It's all about them. What I never realized until recently is just how big the team is behind that camera that is making that whole thing tick. Because they're not doing it all on their own. When you got artists like myself, I didn't click onto that for a while, and I've been doing it all on my own. So it's obviously taken me a hell of a lot longer. Now, to this morning, I saw an ad on Facebook saying that they're looking for 300 artists to work on a mass release of NFT collection. And I'm going, what? What? 300 artists to work on one collection? Now, when you've got that kind of money, capital behind you, you can literally just do about anything, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to have 300 illustrators making a different original piece, all of them, okay, obviously sticking to the guidelines because there's a pattern to these NFTs, then how can you lose? You see? So it's all about the finance at the end of the day, which unfortunately I'm not a very rich man. So I will just find another way to make it happen on that side of the fence. Until then, I'll just keep creating crazy little pieces and hoping people enjoy them.
That sounds like a plan.
That's the plan, yes.
I think
On
we've
track.
kind of a natural conclusion point here. So let's go into that lightning round, okay? I told you those questions beforehand, so let's see how we do how we can do.
Yes. Okay. There. I hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's your favorite food?
Italian.
Italian. Okay.
Anything Italian.
Anything Italian. All right. Least favorite food.
And I like curry too, just now that I think about it. My least favorite food, soup.
Soup? Okay.
Soup.
What's your favorite color?
Purple, magenta, red. Yes, that in that region, yes.
Okay. Least favorite.
Sorry?
Least favorite color.
My least favorite color, black. And yes, we have to use it on everything. Yeah.
Second time.
Because it can destroy a piece of art in just 2 brush strokes.
Okay. All right. Favorite thing to wear on a cold day?
A scarf.
A scarf. Okay.
Like I am wearing today.
So what is something you've always wanted?
My own island.
Your own island.
With like my own island, yes. I've always thought of I would love to be on an island. And then I've had the opportunity to do that though, but you get very bored very quickly. So I'm gonna have to add a whole bunch of stuff to that list. So yeah, it's too much to list. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Like anybody else, I have a list.
You have a list of things you've always wanted. I think most people do.
Major,
right?
as long as my arm in the 5-6 fonts.
Favorite thing you own?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Can you repeat it? The favorite thing that I own, my computer.
Computer. Okay.
Yeah. My computer, my yeah. It allows me to do whatever I want to do, and I can communicate with people. I have friends all over the world, so it's wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, and I don't have to worry about. Yeah, I don't have to worry about plane tickets and stuff.
Okay. If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
I would have to say I want to be that guy, that blue chap in the movies. What's his name? The one that's eternal and etheric. He could do just about anything.
Oh.
The Scarlet Witch's boyfriend. I want to be him. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's going to be a problem for the universe, let me be clear. Because that list, I've got another one next to it.
Okay.
I can promise you now, it wouldn't be 50% by the time I'm done. They would have to lock me.
All right. Well, Travis, I
I
want
would
to
be.
thank. Oh, what?
I think that if I had to have a superpower, I would definitely go over to the dark side at this stage of my life.
Go to the dark side. Like, I've got the superpower. I'm gonna abuse it.
I say get inside, everyone, because if I see you, it's over.
Yeah.
No, I would never be that mean. I would probably, yeah, I would just have a good time with it.
Awesome. Okay, Travis, I want to thank you for your time. You were very engaging. I
Can you hear me?
loved it.
Yeah.
Learned a lot.
Do you have to edit all this stuff now? How long is this going to
Yes.
take you? This has been a crazy interview.
Oh well, hang on. Let's stop the recording real quick.